Well, primary voters in New Jersey last night also finalized the race for one of the nation's most competitive seats and one of the most unusual because the incumbent Republican, Congressman Kean Jr., hasn't been seen on the campaign trail or Capitol Hill for months. As congressional correspondent Lisa Desjardins reports, his absence raises broader questions.
Whoever else has come by Congressman Kean's Capitol Hill office for the past 3 months, he was not one of them.
What do we know about where he is or not?
We really don't know anything.
Benjamin Hulak is the Washington correspondent for NJ Spotlight.
Tell us the status of Congressman Kean right now.
Wish I could. I'm not trying to be oblique, but he last voted in the House on March 5 and has not been seen in public since. And the only thing I've gotten out of his office is that he has a personal medical issue.
This was Kean's last known day in Washington. He appeared at a committee hearing.
I urge my colleagues to support this legislation.
Kean waited until late April to issue a cryptic statement, writing that a doctor forecast full recovery very soon. I asked House Speaker Mike Johnson about this today.
As soon as he's ready to talk about that, you're all going to breathe a sigh of relief and say that makes sense. What he's dealing with is something very common and not a big thing.
Kean's has been the longest but not the only absence this year. Democrat Frederica Wilson, who's retiring, has missed a month of votes, eventually saying she had eye surgery. Republican Julia Letlow missed 2 weeks of votes as she campaigned for U.S. Senate.
The nays are 212, the nays are 212. The concurrent resolution is not adopted.
This all led to a tie, a near win for Democrats on a statement vote last month to end the war in Iran. So far this year, the House has been in session 76 days. Congressman Kean has missed more than half of that. But many days, a dozen or more are absent in a 1 or 2 vote margin Congress.
As the legislation becomes more important, in my case for appropriation bills, every vote counts.
I represent 772,047 individuals, Republicans, Democrats, independents, and they expect me to show up to my job.
Voters, by and large, are very, very understanding. What upsets them is when there's a lack of transparency.
Now, both parties need every single member to be there on every single vote.
Ellie Powell of University of Wisconsin-Madison studies when members miss votes and points out that Congress used to issue internal penalties for missed votes, and stronger local journalism was a factor.
Sort of an earlier era of congressional history where, your local paper would post how many votes you had missed, and it would be really embarrassing during a campaign. Congress has just sort of stopped caring.
The public has started noticing. 2 years ago, the Dallas Express discovered Congresswoman Kay Granger had been living in an assisted living facility. She had not voted in Congress for 6 months.
The rules of the House require that members be present for votes unless they have a formal or necessary excuse. They can put in for an official leave of absence, but rarely do. House leaders can reprimand members with fines, but these days, they never do.
And what we're seeing now is that members are disappearing for weeks at a time and they just don't seem to be involved in the process.
Our next witness is Daniel Schuman.
Daniel Schuman directs the nonpartisan American Governance Institute and is expert in congressional accountability. Reasons abound for absences. Colorado's Brittany Peterson missed votes to give birth. Others, like Thomas Massey or Chip Roy, have missed votes while in competitive primaries. But add to that something harder to track: motivation.
This arises from just sort of the member sense of personal responsibility, but it also arises from institutional incentives in the chamber, where most of the laws are being written by leadership.
Polling shows Americans' opinion of Capitol Hill is near historic lows. And as a branch, Congress is facing unprecedented challenges from President Trump. While most members are showing up to work, the problem of those who aren't undermine its power.
They should be engaged in lawmaking. They should be engaged in debate.
Kean was unopposed and won his primary last night. He posted on social media that he plans to be back within weeks and then will be completely transparent about his condition. But for now, NJ Spotlight's Benjamin Hulak is covering a campaign for Congress where the Republican nominee is absent.
And when you're absent, you just don't really give a yardstick to voters about how to judge you.
And in modern times, voters are the only ones who decide if absent members get penalized. For the PBS News Hour, I'm Lisa Desjardins.
Support journalism you trust. Support PBS News. Donate now, or even better, start a monthly contribution today.